What's up? Long time no stream. Yeah, it seems like everything's working. All right. Um, been a long time since I've done this. It's been about 7 months actually. So we'll see if I can remember how to do this. 3-foot gauge. What's up? Good to see you. All right. I think everything's working. So yeah, it's been a little while. Been about 7 months since my last stream, and a couple months at least, I think, since my last camera appearance. I can't remember what was the last thing that I posted on my channel. Was it the Wheeling in Lake Erie when 765 ran? I think that was it. And even still, that was a couple months ago already. So it's been a little while. Wow. Lots been going on since then. Life is keeps you busy, especially when you're my age and trying to do a whole bunch of stuff. But all good though. Or yeah, pretty much say everything's been good. Can't complain. Just been busy. A lot going on. There's a lot of projects that I've been working on. A lot of stuff that I'm getting involved in or going to be involved in. A lot of stuff that I've kept involvement in, obviously, just Steam and Fort Wayne and with 765. Some stuff like that. So, but that's not necessarily what we're talking about tonight. So, this will be pretty chill, as all of my live streams tend to be. But figured what I would do tonight is build some classic Lego, namely this guy. Well, not necessarily this guy exactly. This guy's already built. So last weekend was Brick Fair, Virginia, and I attended, and it was a good time. I did not vlog the trip. Hello to Tweetsy and Unicorn Gundam. Welcome to the stream, you guys. I did not vlog my trip to Brick Fair, Virginia. Just really decided that I was going to just go and hang out and just enjoy being there, and it was a good time. Definitely had a lot of fun. Got a Panzer Brick Lab shirt, among other things. But I did record some video from that. Most of the video that I did record was my own trains running. Actually, I didn't even record most of that. Kale recorded it for me while I was running my trains. But I did get like some video of that show that I'll probably just compile and put together and just throw up on my channel. Yeah, it'll be even less edited than my typical vlogs, which will not that big a deal. So that was last weekend, but bringing that up because one of the things that I was able to accomplish over the weekend of the show was kind of get buy some old Lego. Turn my light on. I don't think that does very much. Might do a little. Buy some old Lego. You might have noticed by the title of the live stream, Santa Fe Super Chief Mega Build. So this guy that I just showed on camera, this is my original Super Chief. As far as I can remember, I got this it was post 9-volt era that I bought this, and I'm pretty sure I got it on eBay. And just assembled it, and I've had it assembled ever since. Earlier this week, because for reasons that I'll explain, but earlier this week I restored it. So like I put all of the correct pieces back together. I had replaced this grill tile with a 1x2 tile just because I like the more solid look. I had replaced, I'd pretty much taken out all of the interior. So like the prime mover that's in there, I'd completely removed that. And then there's like a couple little clips that you put like the minifigure tools in on either side down here. Put all that back. I had all the parts still. I'm not sure if some of the parts that I put back in, like on the prime mover, are original to this kit. But I do know that all of the printed parts are original to this kit, and I was able to find the minifigures too. So I've got them standing in there right now. But so I replaced I restored my own original copy of the Santa Fe Super Chief locomotive. It was sitting in a box off in that direction. Still had the 9-volt motor under it. So this is pretty much how my Super Chief has existed for most of its life. Still got the original instructions. This is not a special edition, so I've been learning some of this history myself, but Lego back in 2002 released this as a special edition kit, I believe first. It was 10,000, limited in 10,000 in number, and they were serialized. So you actually got a two printed tiles. One of them was a 1x2 red tile that with the Lego logo printed on it, which all of the kits got, all of the special edition kits got. And then each kit got a specifically numbered tile that was specific to that kit. So like 0 through 10,000 or 0 through 99.99 or something like that. This one is not a special edition. I know that because I still have the front of the box that it came in. I decided to save the fronts of boxes rather than the entire box. I wish I had done a better job of that as a 12-year-old-ish. However old I was when I decided to do that, but it was more than half of my life ago. But anyways, had the Super Chief on the mind recently this week for a very good reason. So this is my original. So I've got that out. Just enjoyed looking at that today and a little bit earlier this week. But while I was at Brick Fair, my good friend Paul, who is a little bit older than I am, has been in the hobby for a little bit longer than I am, and as such has more of the old stuff than I do. During Brick Fair, there is a yard sale portion of it where you, even if you're not a registered vendor, which they're very particular about vendors at the show, but even if you're not a registered vendor, you're able to just go sell your Lego or what have you, just in the yard sale. It's like I think they do one on Thursday and I think they do one on Saturday. So I happened to run into Paul as people were getting set up for the Saturday yard fair at Brick Fair last weekend, and I asked if he had any more 9-volt for sale because I was able to trade him one of my custom models and for one of the old 9-volt kits last year, which was cool. So this year he ended up, I asked him if he had any more 9-volt, and he said that he did. And so I said, "What do you have?" And he said, "Well, I've got the Super Chief." I said, "Okay, let's talk about that." So the long story short is that I traded for the entire Santa Fe Super Chief. And when I say entire Santa Fe Super Chief, I mean I got one copy of 1022 or 10022 to do the observation car. I got one copy of 10022 to do a diner. I got one copy of 10022 to do the sleeper car. I got one copy of whatever the set number is, 10025 to do the baggage car. I got a copy of 10025 to do the mail car, the RPO. And I got a copy of the special edition of the Super Chief, complete with the printed tiles. My serial number, I believe, is A9307. So, quite a Brick Fair for me. One, because this is pretty highly collectible stuff. I am not a Lego collector. Straight up, I am not a Lego collector. I do not call myself a Lego collector. I think if I were to try to collect Lego, I would be even poorer than I am already trying to do this as a model railroading hobby. But this was kind of too good of an opportunity to pass up. So I was able to trade with Paul for this stuff. And so I'll keep the details of that private because that's between me and him. But I was able to trade Paul for the entire Santa Fe Super Chief. So what I'm going to do tonight is start chipping my way through some of that, and while I live stream, figured that would be a nice enough thing to do. What I'll probably do is go back to front. So I'll start with the observation car and work towards what is now going to be my second A unit, and just kind of go from there. So really excited about this. Obviously, I think anybody who does Lego at all will probably agree that this is pretty exciting. Growing up say growing up. I'm still not that old by my standards. When I was younger, I really only came into the Lego train scene on the very tail end of 9-volt in a serious way. Like, I had 9-volt trains during the 9-volt era. So like my first set was the 4561 Railway Express, and that I still got it. I need to go back and restore that again at some point, but I've got that, which was my first actual Lego train kit. So there should be some instructions or some extra stickers around here too. I think they're in one of those bags. But yeah, that was my first kit. So, but even still, I didn't really start doing this in a serious way up until the time that I was 10 or 11 years old or so. And so that means that I never really was able to take advantage of the 9-volt offerings, you know, like the my own train stuff, like the Super Chief, or the all of like the steam engine offerings that they had, like the 317 steam locomotive and things like that. I never really had the chance to take advantage of any of that. Just kind of wrong place at the wrong time, I suppose you could say, which is unfortunate, but doesn't mean that opportunities like that cease to exist forever. Case in point, obviously, is right in front of me. So this is, in one way, it's kind of catching up to some of the years of Lego trains that I missed in my earlier years, which is, in a way, it's kind of neat to be able to say that I can do that now. So off to a good start. Some of the stickers in these kits have been applied as such. So I do have some sticker sheets to varying degrees of completion. I know I've got a complete sticker sheet for the locomotive, so I might not have all of the stickers to completely finish all of the cars, but we will dive into that as I get farther. So I've also got a couple of ideas that I'd like to pursue with the Super Chief cars. Like I said, I'm not really much of a collector. I certainly try not to be, because my interest in Lego is doing this as a modeling medium. As such, you know, I could spend forever in a day collecting the old, you know, train sets, 9-volt, 12-volt, what have you, which, you know, could be a lot of fun. There are a lot of people who get a lot of enjoyment out of that, which I think is, of course, there's nothing wrong with it. But it's not really what I'm here to do, or at least not really what I want to be here to do. So I try to stay away from any serious and concentrated collecting efforts. But like this, occasionally, sometimes an opportunity comes along, and you know, you just got to pounce on that. And pounce I have. Something kind of satisfying about just building with a bunch of parts just dumped onto a table. I think we've got a couple people in chat. Techno Andrew, good to see you again. Saw that you were semi-recently out in my area. Hope you enjoyed that trip. Hope you got some good roller coaster time in. Yeah, it would have cost a few dollars to put all this together. Like I said, luckily I was able to trade, and I'd consider that to be pretty much all luck. Definitely would not have been able to purchase this, not for the price that it was listed. So put on my my thinking cap, so to speak, and made him an offer he couldn't refuse. Haven't seen The Godfather in forever. Spent the last 3 or so Christmases at your parents restoring the childhood sets. That's fun. That's got to be a lot of fun. Kind of just going through all of the parts that you still got. Like, I know that, so when I was with storing this, I knew that, like, so obviously I've never had anything but the one Super Chief locomotive, so I knew that all of those printed parts that I had removed, which were, I think, almost entirely limited to the prime mover inside of the locomotive, I knew that they were going to still be around somewhere. I just had to look for them, and I did look for them, and I found them, which is pretty awesome. There's like a 4, I think, or 3 unique printed parts in that assembly, and I think a copy of one of them. And I knew that they were all there. I mean, like, they were, I think, spread out across 3 or 4 of my different, like, old Lego bins. So this is like stuff that, like Lego parts that I've had since like the early 2000s, basically, when I started getting any Lego at all, you know, as a kid. As oftentimes happens to everybody, that just kind of gets dumped into, you know, large bins and just remains unsorted for essentially forever, which is essentially what happened with me. But like, I never got any other copies of these sets, so like, and I know I would not have thrown them away, so I just had to go look for them, and I looked for them. They were there, which is pretty cool. I was a little bit worried about it, won't lie, but found everything I needed. So as far as I'm aware, my copy of the locomotive is as complete as it will ever get again. All of the original minifigures are there. I think they have specific branded torsos that I think I don't know if they only came in the set, but I don't think I ever got any other copies of that torso. So I knew that they were around. I had to hunt for those a little bit, but I found them. So that's good. But yeah, just a bunch of stuff like that, just hunting around and just making sure that I could find everything. So I think it's as complete as it will ever get again. I don't think that I'm missing anything. I went through the instructions enough to think that I can say that confidently. It's possible that I might have missed something, but if I did, I'll just go back and change it. But I think it's all there. But like I said, yeah, it's quite a moment, because I never had anything but the one locomotive. You know, I honestly could not tell you how many times I've even seen a full car set myself. Just really never. I'm sure I have. Just I couldn't like recall like looking at it. Just I thought it was a little bit less special. Because growing up, I never had them, so I couldn't identify with it. So I kind of just pass it off in the later years. But time to change that. And now I'm, completely falling in love with Super Chief. Sometimes it's just kind of the way it happens. You don't think about something, and then, something changes, and then all of a sudden you love it. Honestly, it's kind of what happened with the Nickel Plate Burks and me. Let's see. East Coast trip was great. Awesome rides. A lot of new states. That's good to hear. I'm glad. I know we've got each other on socials, so I was kind of like every other day I would see like, oh, he's in this, saw you at like Cedar Point or whatever. I'm like, oh, he's gonna have a great day. Like, glad to hear you enjoyed the trip though. It's very good to hear. No, I am not. I figured this would probably come up, and it's kind of the elephant that isn't in the room is that the room that I am in is not the same. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. Snaky, welcome to the chat. I'm glad you're a fan. I appreciate hearing that. Really appreciate hearing that. Saw the Model 80 just steam and loved it. Yeah, that's so my my model of OP&E 19, the Emperor of the North locomotive, is currently not with me at the moment. It is on display at the Age of Steam Roundhouse Museum in Ohio, and it will stay there for the rest of this year. So if you want to see that in person, you can head out that way and take a look at it. Decals on the locomotives. That is all of the artwork is done by Kale Leapart, my good friend, who does model train graphic art professionally, which is pretty cool. He does all of the artwork on all of my models. locomotive, rolling stock, whatever. And so most of those, that's probably most of them, are printed vinyl transfer decals that have been most consistently done by OK Brickworks. I've got some pieces that were printed with UV ink, and that was done by either Richard Glatter or Garrett Middleman. Love UV printed parts. Whenever I can, not necessarily afford, but whenever the model lends itself well enough to use printed parts, and I generally often enough. Stop yapping and show the Lego. Fine. This is the start of the observation car. Could kind of do this. Normally when I build something, I keep the camera up. So it's like what I'm building, I don't want anybody to see. So I guess this can kind of be like a little bit of a change. Because people have been seeing these for like 23 years now. This thing is 23 years old, by the way. That is wild. This design is 23 years old. Okay. Enough of that, because that'll make me feel old. Normally used to be in base, but yeah, the room's different. I figured that might have been what you meant, but yeah, I am no longer living in an apartment. I'll just say that, which is a very good thing. There are some parts of my life that I just try to keep a little bit more private, not necessarily for one reason or the other. It's just that, I don't think that everybody in the world needs to know everything about me. But I mean, the obvious thing is, like, if I'm going to continue doing YouTube and in the same kind of way, then I think it's going to be obvious at one point or another that I am not living in the same place. So yeah, no longer in the apartment. Where I'm at now, though, will remain classified. However, I will say that I am not stopping. I am definitely not stopping my involvement with the heritage organizations that I have been. So that might just to clear up any questions there. This is a lot of things that I've been really fortunate to have had a part in, even in small ways, but really excited about a couple of new opportunities. But not stopping my involvement with the places that I'm known for being involved in so far. So. How did Heiss and I meet? We met at the, what was it? It was the Winter Spectacular at the East Broad Top in 2023. He was there. I think I knew that he was going to be there. I think I was a participant of his Discord at the time. Knew or found out that he was going to be there. And I was planning on going anyways with my friends, and we did. It was a lot of fun. That was an absolute blast of a day. Getting to see the East Broad Top, because I had actually never experienced the East Broad Top before. So that was really, really fun. Especially to see it with 16 running, which I believe it was since 1955 or whenever the railroad shut down. Basically, that's when 16 stopped running. So I was able to enjoy 16 along with what felt like 10,000 of my closest rail fan friends. There was a lot of people there that day. But yeah, Mark was there. He had kind of an entourage with him. Whether he would call it that or not, that's what it, at least kind of what it seemed like. But yeah, I just kind of walked right up to him and just met him, shook his hand, greeted him and introduced myself. I actually had with me, I had acquired at Timonium, the Timonium train show earlier that year, that I had acquired Little Engines and Big Men, which is the one of the Rio Grande narrow gauge books that he has hyped up and also inadvertently caused the prices of to skyrocket. But I brought my copy along because I had figured out that, or known or discovered or whatever, that he was going to be there, and I asked him to basically sign it, and he did. He was very kind about that. He wrote a nice little inscription on it and signed it Heiss, which was awesome of him. Then we kind of stayed in touch. I invited him out to Age of Steam and toured him around there for a day once when he happened to be close by to the area already. He came out and I showed him around a little bit and continued to stay in touch. Seen him a couple more times now. Great guy. I know I have enjoyed hanging out with him. You know, people have a lot of opinions on other people, but that is my opinion. Still got room for a floor layout, and that's all that matters. I have a lot of room for a lot of layout if I wanted to. The important thing is that I think I might eventually. I'm not saying this is going to happen like tomorrow or even next month, or I don't know when, but I will eventually graduate from the floor layout. I've got a space that I can dedicate to a not floor layout that I am really looking forward to capitalizing on, because I'll be completely honest with you, as much as I know that I am known for the floor layout, I'm kind of tired of it. I want to run trains on a table. And I've got the opportunity to do that. So that is pretty exciting. Chat jumped up a little bit. Such a legend, man. I don't know about that. I am just a guy who enjoys building Lego trains and doing train things. That is most of my public persona. Which is weird to say that I have a public persona. I just saw your message that you're gotta bounce out of here. I appreciate you coming and hanging out. Looking like be back in that general direction in 2027. Awesome. Well, if you're back out this way, let me know. Would possibly enjoy getting to ride some roller coasters with a roller coaster enthusiast. Was wondering if oh, never mind. Not important at this point, but yeah, we'll figure that out at some point. Let's see. Corey Gibson is in the chat. Hello to Corey. Welcome to the stream. I'm a little bit behind on the chat, I think, so apologize. Mark is a great guy. I like Mark. I like Mark. I'm excited for him. He's he also has acquired a house, as I understand, which is cause for celebration on any scale these days. You know, that's pretty cool. So good for him. I'm sure that is why he is probably a little bit busy at the moment. Do I have Discord? I do use Discord. If you can find me on Discord, my inboxes on my public social media channels generally stay open. I will reply when I can, when I see it, when I have time kind of person. So I might go days without replying. If that happens, it's not cause for concern. Ever had anyone recognize me for my Lego work outside of a show? I have, actually. I've been recognized at Age of Steam, although that's kind of cheating. I have had people there who were aware of me by name, but I don't know if they recognized my face. I know I have had people at Age of Steam that did recognize me. I have been, so I think it was at Steam in the Valley earlier this year. I was out there for a couple days, for like a day and a half basically, but I was walking up and down the train, just kind of like interacting with guests and things like that. Not in any sort of official sense, but I was there, so I was just gonna hang out and talk to people who were riding the train. But I happened to stop by this one group of people, and this one guy says, "Are you Glenn Holland?" And I said, "Yeah, I am." And so he had recognized me, so that was kind of wild. Um, so yeah, it has happened. I've been recognized at a couple of different. I was out just it was years and years ago already, but I was out at one heritage line that I was close to at the nearby at the time, and somebody was also hanging around in that same area and didn't like step up to me and like greet me, but like messaged me on Instagram or whatever it was after the fact and said, "Hey, were you at this place today?" And I said, "Yeah, I was." And he's like, "Oh, I saw you walking around," or like whatever. I'm like, "Oh, you should have just come and said hi." I'm not I'm not entirely unapproachable. Find me on Discord. You can. My name is, I think, Emperor of the North. You can just find me and just DM me if you have questions or anything like that. I don't sit on social media all day, all the time. So if you are hoping to just like talk to me, I'll talk my ear off all day on social media about Lego or trains or whatever. I appreciate it, but I don't have that kind of time. And it's really not something that I would be interested in doing anyways. And I don't mean that in an offensive way. It's just I don't. That's not why I use Discord or social media at all, except for keeping up with close and personal friends. But I think that's generally what people use social media for, anyways. I love this, by the way. This is a nice printed tile that comes with at least with the observation car. Just pretty rad. Santa Fe Super Chief. This is a groundbreaking set back in the time. And I wasn't, obviously, like I said, I was young enough to not be completely aware of the importance or the significance of it, but it's pretty awesome. This is like getting realistic stuff. That was you at CVSR. I think it happened more than once, because the guy that I talked to, or the guy that I was thinking of when I told that little story, was riding the train that day, and he was with a group of his friends. And then I know I was recognized by somebody else, and that might have been you, Michael Strains. Welcome to the chat and stream, by the way. But yeah, it happened multiple times that weekend. I know that for sure, which is really, really weird. Got to get to that side of the country for a show sometime soon. Yeah, narrow gauge madness. One of these days I'll dive into narrow gauge, but that day might be in like 30 years. There's a lot of stuff that I want to do before I get to that. Well, these were sold as complete. I'm looking like it's looking like I'm missing at least a couple parts, which is not the end of the world. It's a briefcase and a white 1x2 tile. Let me see if I can just pop down the hallway real quick and find those real quick. So let me figure that out. I think what I might do is just take notes of what I don't have, and then find stuff after the fact. Because I don't know just by looking at them. I should probably be able to figure this out, but I know for a fact that the grays in these kits are the old grays. So I'm wondering, so I'm missing one of the a briefcase, like the briefcase that you can clip into a minifig hand, and I'm betting that that will be an old brown, because I think that these chairs are an old brown as well. So I might just hold off on that and order something that would be correct. Unexpected thing happened last weekend. Seen about the greatest gathering. Yeah, you have to fill me in there. Someone recognized you. That's funny. That's incredible. I love that. It's such a weird thing to be recognized, especially on our level. And this is not me saying like I think I'm a celebrity. I don't think that at all. I think it's kind of weird that I get recognized, and it has never like sat right with me for somebody to just come up to and say like, "Hey, I know who you are." I don't necessarily mind it. It's just like I can't, like, every time it happens, I can't process it any better than the last time. Um, that is crazy and pretty cool that it did happen to you, though. That's really neat. This is really interesting. So on one side, it uses panels in between the windows, and on the other side, it uses 1x2x2 bricks. That's fascinating. Wonder why they decided to do that. Oh, I know why. It's because you put minifigures on the chairs on that side, and their arms sit up over the thing, and they don't necessarily have to do that on the other side. Interesting. Okay, makes sense. Oh, let's see. Oh, MacBricks is here. Hello to you, sir. Hope you're doing well. Need one more of those bricks. See, the problem with this is, there it is. If I am missing parts, I am not necessarily going to 100% have what I'm missing, like in on hand to fill any gaps like that. So I'm really hopeful that I don't. You know, the guy that got it from, I know personally, so it's not like I don't trust the guy. You know, it's just, you count out enough stuff, like it's very possible, it's very easy and very likely to miss something. And he was selling, like I mentioned, the entire Santa Fe Super Chief. So, you know, that's a lot. Hope everybody's doing well, by the way. It's been, like I said at the beginning, it's been a while since I've done a live stream. I think my last one was at the very end of the year in 2024. And here we are, basically a full 7 months later, now into August, which is crazy. Progress report. These are so cool. Okay, let's see. I missed that. Missed a couple of parts in some step. Oh, it's a step. The other thing about live streaming and doing this is I'm bound to miss parts in some step as well. Hopefully not, though. So one of the things that I've been diving into this week, of course, you know, everybody knows how hyperfixations work these days. And obviously, and it's pretty easy to, a pretty easy guess that I've been fixating on the Super Chief. But in case you were not familiar with the lore, as it were, back in the day, so these being released in 2002, these were the locomotive and all of the cars were designed by a gentleman named James Mathis. James Mathis was a pretty, as far as I know, he's a pretty well-renowned six-wide builder back in the 2000s. People still, you know, I don't know how much building he's done anymore, but I know he was at least active in building and publishing stuff in the later 2010s into our 20-teens, I guess. But he designed these, and Lego, of course, sold them as kits. But so he designed the locomotive and all 5 of the cars. And so if you don't know, the cars are a little bit unique. So you had the locomotive kit, again, limited or regular editions, and then you had the cars, which were kits number 10022 and 10025, I think. And so 10022, this one, you could build 3 different versions of. So it's the observation car, the sleeper car, or the dining car. 10025, you could build 2 different versions of, which is the RPO, or the mail car, and the baggage car, and then the locomotive. Mr. Mathis, at the time, also designed, which never got released as kits, he designed a B unit and I think 2 different versions of a dome car. One that used these translucent clear, transparent clear macaroni bricks, which are very expensive. And he designed another one that represents more of the later style. So if you're familiar with dome cars, you know, you've got like the curved dome style, which uses expensive and curved pieces of glass, or you've got like the paneled ones. So he designed a paneled one with like windshield panels that goes up and down the side, and they use the same form factor, like they use the same parts as these kits. But so the B unit and the dome car never got released as kits. However, you can still find instructions for them online, which I have done. They are on Brickshelf, throwing it way back there. So I was able to download the .mpd files. Kale actually today was able to help me clean them up a little bit, and so I've got both of those sitting in Studio right now, and I would show those off, except I've got a lot of other stuff open in Studio that I don't want to close right now that is proprietary at the moment. So got both of those though, and what I would like to do is to kit bash both the B unit and the dome car, and that would be it. I would not build another Santa Fe Super Chief set ever, because again, not a collector, but that would be awesome, I think. So I would, I'd like to do that if I ever get the chance to. Having 6 wide withdrawals, you could say that. Really, it's just I had the opportunity to get these. I explained it a little bit earlier in the stream, but I traded for the entire train set. So one of each of the cars and the special edition locomotive. I traded for that at Brickford, Virginia, and so I'm hyper fixating, as it were. So, Corey, you've been recognized from the background of Mark's channel. That's funny. That does happen. I'm not even sure if I'm as frequent on Mark's channel as you are, but things like that do happen. All right, what do we got going on here? Put the doors in. I love these old doors. Like, this is so iconic to the 6 wide era, 9 volt era, or whatever. This is so much fun. I'm having a blast. Because again, I never had these growing up. I couldn't identify with them. I didn't care about them as much until I had the opportunity to get them for myself, and now I love them. So this is filling a gap in my childhood. Let's see. Yeah, they're available. They are on Brickshelf. So Brickshelf, having been down and come back, Corey, take care. Went down and got bought out or whatever and preserved basically, and it's still up and you can still upload photos to it and everything like that. But it's a little bit weirder now. It's a little bit slower. Things like that happen. However, the one thing that I've run into with Bricklink, and this was mainly today, trying to navigate around and try to find the Super Chief stuff that I mentioned, was that the next buttons, like if you go into a folder, you have like all of the contents of that folder, and then if it's enough contents, you have like a page, like next page, but you can only click next on the bottom or top right corner, and then you can click previous to navigate that. And for some reason, I have not seen the next buttons appear. So it's really difficult to navigate those pages because the next buttons don't appear. Like the files are there, like the folders aren't missing files. It's just that you can't get to them unless you happen to have a link to that folder. which is really odd. So it took a little bit of finding to get down to these Super Chief models, or the folders in on Brickshelf and such. Had to double motor your Super Chief. Yeah, I will probably end up double motoring mine. So my goal is an A unit, a B unit, and another A unit. I've got the A units, need the B unit. We'll probably put a motor in my second A unit and just leave the B unit as a dummy, and then the 6 cars. So baggage, mail, probably sleeper, diner, dome, observation. Is probably how I would arrange the train. Would I ever get the Bricklink? I guess that's Bricklink Designer Program, Santa Fe locomotive. Most likely not. I won't lie, I have not been very interested in the Bricklink Designer Program stuff. Not that I don't care about it, I really like it. It's just other stuff to spend money on, and I'm not a collector. It's like I would rather take the resources that I could spend on something like that and put it into, you know, another locomotive or rolling stock of my own design. Not that there's anything wrong with collecting Lego or anything like that. It's just that it's not what my calling is. You know, I am a Lego modeler. I am a Lego train modeler. That's what I do. At least I try to. Not very good at it. Finally get to put this guy on, the drum head. That looks incredible. This is so cool. I cannot explain to you how cool this is. Okay, another page. I've fallen off. Only 6 people are watching. I think I talked about this on one of my previous streams, but it feels weird for me to even somewhat consider myself to be a content creator, because in a way I am, because I create content and post it online. But I would not define myself as a content creator, because in my mind, a content creator is making concentrated, dedicated efforts to make videos, post videos, that kind of thing, and that's not me. I make and post video because it's part of my creative process. Rather have another a mock than another logging railway set. Yeah, I love the logging railway set. I actually was fortunate enough to meet Tease, the designer. I was able to meet Tease when I was visiting Europe several years ago. Wonderful guy. I wouldn't say that I know him personally, but I have met him. But really awesome job that he did in that set. I would love to have one if I had the expendable resources, but I would not. I don't think that I've had the expendable resources. But yeah, it's a pretty cool set. For sure. Richard's here. Floor layout before you have the train built. We'll see. I did set up the 9-volt track behind me. So earlier today, just had a little bit of time, and I was able to. So I'd obviously done put the Santa Fe, my own copy of the locomotive, back together. I was just thinking, like, I should probably test this out before I do too much else with it, because I was planning to live stream tonight and do this. But so I put the locomotive back together, and I set up a track and started running it around, and it just plugged it in, and it cranked right up. Like, it didn't have it didn't go anywhere initially, but I gave it a little push, and it was fine. Started right up and shook all of the dust off, essentially. Just cranked right up again. You know, 20 plus year old technology. Just a little bit of gunk on these parts, nothing major. These are old parts. I mean, they stopped making. They went to from old to light bluish gray in mid-2000s, I think. Quite a while ago. Good price logging railroad sent you, paid the money to grab it before you and ship it. I'm not that worried about it, but I appreciate the offer. I really do. I really think that that's probably going to be one that I live without. More than likely, anyways. How is this supposed to look with the stickers on the corners? Okay, so trying to figure this out as I go, like Indiana Jones. Some of these already have got the stickers applied to them. Picked up a BMW yesterday, hence the lack of recent models. Yeah, that'll do it, honestly. That's cool though. Congrats. There's no reason for me to be, but I'm kind of like particular. I want to make sure that I make the stickers look the same way that they do on like that. It's like these could be applied in a couple of different ways if you really wanted to. So I'm trying to make them look nice. Hopefully I'm doing that. Put this guy in the middle. Didn't sound like a con Krug. No, I don't think I did. I feel okay. Thankfully. I missed something. I did miss something. Should slow down and pay attention to what I'm doing. I don't think that there's going to be a vlog, but I did record at least some video of my trains running. I think I got a couple of clips of some other folks' trains running it on the layout, the LGMS layout there at Brick Fair. So I think I can at least put that up, but not a vlog. Sorry to disappoint. I think it's funny. I've had a lot of people tell me that my vlogs are good background noise, which is great because it means that they're watching my stuff, but it also like they're not actually watching my stuff because it's just on in the background, which is funny. Not that I care. I promise I do not actually care. I watch YouTube a lot for background noise, and yeah, like using the term watch is a stretch, so I get it. Got the original magnets too. Unsub unlike because of no vlog. That's your prerogative. I went to enjoy the show, but can't say I don't understand why you would do that. I wouldn't subscribe to me. Getting pretty close to the end of the first car here. I don't know how I'll stream. This might be a two-parter. Could maybe get a couple of the cars done tonight and save the other couple of cars in the engine for another day. Be really easy to do that if I wanted to. Let's see. This is a really clever technique. So it's just this assembly is not actually held in. It just slots into this part of the truck, and then you use this guy to just hold it in place. That's awesome. It's so clever. So clever. That's so 9-volt era. It really is. Love it to death. It's so neat. So there's the trucks. Traps on the cars are closed. I don't know how many extra parts I'm going to have from this. I'm going to assume that it's not that many. 3-foot gauge. Gotta head out. Appreciate you stopping by. Have a good rest of your night. That's become background noise while I hang up laundry. If I was on the other side of this, I would certainly be doing the same thing. Promise I'm not offended. It is nice going to the show and just enjoying it, not working. Yeah, it's gotta agree. And you've actually been to shows and worked because you own businesses. I don't really. I wouldn't call Glen Holland Models a business per se. Well, it is by some technicality, but it's a little bit different. All right, wrapping up here. Got to live with the buffers, but you know, it is what it is. It's not so bad. And there, actually, wait, I need stickers on the, I need the number boards. What do they number this as? 2417? Okay, let me dig out the stickers for that. I think I put them in with the locomotive bag. I did, yes. Got 3 of these to varying degrees of completion. What I think is really cool and is that you have, so I got 3 of these, is that they give you originally 6 pairs of car numbers, and there are 5 cars, which means that you can build one of each kind of car plus the dome car. So, and I happen to know because I went on the internet and figured it out, but there actually was a pleasure dome numbered 503. So guess what that is going to be saved for? Anyways, all right, this car has got to be 2417 to follow the instructions as precisely as possible. These are old stickers, but they're so pretty. They're like they've got a little bit of metallic to them. They're basically Lego flat silver. And this was back when Lego made a sticker that covered the entire face of a tile. Nowadays, you've got a pretty decent amount of extra room. But you know, on stickers like these, you can just kind of align it right to the corners and just go for it. Oh, could have done a better job on that one. The stickers, thankfully, are not in terrible shape. They're not like breaking apart or crunching up in my hand, so I've got a little bit of wiggle room here. There we go. Observation car 2417. That one is complete, I would say. What a cool model. I think I missed a part. Let me go back and just double check that real quick. If I had to guess, I guess I didn't. Got a couple of 1x4 tiles, or excuse me, plates left over, but I'm going to guess that those are just used elsewhere, or in the other versions of this this car. Yeah, that is the observation car. For the first time ever, I've got my own Santa Fe passenger car. What I'll do is set them down on the track back here, so we can grow the train bit by bit. If I get the chair out of the way. What a happy sight. Oh no, that's not a happy sight. Oh no, something's falling off. Terrible. Wonder if it's the track or is it the car? Might be both. Also, it's trying to run over uneven carpet, so I think it's pretty safe to say that 9-volt stuff is made for carpet, but you know. That's pretty fun. I think it must have been probably like 12 years since I have used some of my 9-volt stuff. And that is not an exaggeration. Bogies never rotated well until you took the tiles near the buffer beams off. Really? Seems like it would just right up underneath the plates easily enough. The upside down plates. Oh, you mean the 2x2s? That's a shame. Let me see. What does it look like when you put it back in? Yeah, I could kind of see why that might cause a problem. I will leave it for now for the sake of completion. We'll get to that. I think the main problem that I just experienced was the studs here might have conflicted with the rail. It's kind of what it sounds like, so we'll leave it for now. Let's see. Chat jumped it. I gotta move to the next bag. Which one are we gonna do next? I think we'll do the sleeper next. Actually, no, we'll do the diner next. So imagine I just did a dome car. Going from back to front, I would put the diner after the dome car. So observation, dome, diner, I think. Because usually I think they put diners kind of a mid-train, so you have multiple groups of people, like coach passengers, sleeping, and then private, roomette passengers that would be able to use them. At least that would be my assumption. I'm no genius in that department. A couple more chat messages. Northern Ohio area are the most worth going to. I could not tell you. I have actually not been to too many shows in the Northern Ohio area, so I apologize for that. So this is the first version, the first model of 10022. We just built the second. And I guess the sleeping car is a third. So the one thing that I will differ from on these instructions is that they, in the instructions, number this car 503. I'm going to save 503 and number that and save those for the dome car that I want to build. I'm pretty sure the number 1340 is the one that's unused otherwise. So I will probably number this car 1340. Vlogging is working. Responsibility other than just having fun. That is correct, honestly. Because it is, again, the mind of a non-content creator. Content creator says, if you're there and vlogging, you're always gonna, you tend to think about, oh, should I be recording this? What should I be recording? What shots should I get? These are in good condition. I love that. Do you even want to know how much this all cost? I could tell you what it was priced for, but I traded for all of this. So my out-of-pocket cost was very, very little, which is pretty fun. The important thing is that everybody's happy. And that's what matters. Okay, I'm scroll down a little bit farther. Santa Fe is one of your favorite sets. Understand why they got away from multiple sets, but it was a cool way to sell. It definitely was. I have always loved the idea of one set will build you 3 models. I've loved, it's different flavor of a different idea, but I've loved the creator sets for that reason. I think it's really cool because it gives you a reason to deconstruct and rebuild, which is the point of Lego, honestly. I think that's really cool. I've always enjoyed it. I think that doing the multiple model versions in sets exactly like this has always been a really, really cool thing, and can understand and appreciate why Lego doesn't do it as much, but I've always kind of thought it was cool. It does also give you a reason to go back and buy a second version of something. And it allows you to make your own decision when you're building it. If I bought one of these, it's like, oh, I'd really like to have the sleeper car, to start with, and then, whatever else. Really cool to have my own copy. Yeah, this is quite a moment. Certainly quite a moment. Why so long? You got the bogies never rotated over. Why so long? Because I haven't used 9-volt stuff in forever. Just completely moved away from 9-volt entirely. It's just not what I use anymore, and haven't used it in a serious way for a while. And of course, even right now, I would say this is not necessarily serious. I'm doing this because it's kind of a collector's piece at this point. Never had your own 9-volt train, Richard. That's wild. Would I ever consider building my own Union Pacific locomotive? I would. There's a couple Union Pacific locomotives that I want. There's a couple of them, and among those, there's a couple of them that I would consider trading for. If somebody else did a really good version of something that I liked and wanted, I would consider trading for something like that if they were open to doing so. If the builder was open to doing so, that'd be cool. There's a couple different Union Pacific engines I would enjoy a model of. Big Boy, of course, would be one of them, as many people that do Lego Big Boys as there are. I still think it would be cool to have one. Maybe one day. I don't know if I'll ever do one myself, but we'll see. Won't rule it out yet. But Challenger would be another one of the 3900 class Challengers. I think that would be really cool. Based on appearance alone, I kind of lean towards the Challengers, actually. I think that they have always looked pretty cool. They kind of personify the term Greyhound in my mind a little bit more. So I've always enjoyed the Challengers. I would consider building a 484, probably not an FEF3. I've actually got some diagrams for an FEF2, which I think would be kind of cool. A little bit different. No smoke deflectors, maybe, or no smoke lifters. I personally think that'd be cool. And I've already got the diagrams for them, so it's kind of a step in the right direction. But all of that would be a long time down the road. I have got a lot of stuff that I want to do before I get to Union Pacific stuff. Not that I hate Union Pacific, I don't. Just that other stuff speaks to me more, Last set you bought was the Woodland Animal set, the 3-in-1. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I love the creator sets. They're so cool. They always give you some interesting building techniques in those. There's always just enough in there to make them really interesting, I think. Nick's here. What's up, Nick? Just got Oliver down to bed. Going pretty well. We finished the going the wrong way. We finished the observation car. That is my own version, or my own original Super Chief from years and years ago. And so I've officially got a Super Chief car. So we did the observation. I'm going to build back to front. So right now I'm doing the dining car, I think. Yeah, doing the dining car. Challenger would be a nice change from Big Boy. I certainly think so. Big Boy is, everybody kind of does. A lot of people do Big Boy. Again, not that I hate the Big Boy. I don't. But I think that, everybody who wants a model train wants a Big Boy in some form or another. And a lot of people, that's just what a lot of people go for, which is fine, but it's just, I have an obsession with the more obscure, but I do want a Big Boy eventually being the operative word, way down the road. Other stuff is more important than Union Pacific. Hey, Calvin. Oh man, oh man. Interesting floating connections in some of these. Not connections, but just like you got like a cantilevered macaroni brick in this case, which is kind of an interesting choice. Big boys are overdone. Don't think you've seen do the early challengers. No, I don't think that I've seen anybody do the early challengers either. I think that that would be really cool. I mean, I would love a 3900 class challenger, but just like the look of them. An earlier challenger would be really cool too. Big boy's not overdone anywhere near as much as 4014 is. I would agree with that. If I was going to do a big boy, I would not want 4014. One, because I've seen a different big boy in real life, which that would be the one that I want. And two, it would give me a much better reason to model an in-service version of the Wasatch class. Which would be a lot more fun. I could use it in more ways in show layouts and such. I generally model in-service locomotives, or locomotives as they would have appeared in service. I guess 19 would be an exception to that, but that's different. 19 is an exception in and of itself. Making sure I'm not missing anything step to step. Because it's entirely likely that I will. Ah, interesting. So progress report, this is the diner so far. So I assume table, and then probably bar or kitchen area. Appreciate Paul, he put all of the trans clear pieces in bags, and anything with a sticker on it he put in bags. Awful nice of him to do that. As such, most of the trans clear pieces are in pretty good shape, which pretty much always makes something like this a lot more easy and less annoying, you know, just when you have good pieces to you know, good quality pieces. I'm not going to say that these are new quality parts, but they're definitely in very good condition, which is wonderful, of course. Anybody working on anything pretty fun recently? I know I've obviously moving into a new space. I've been a little busy, but I've got some interesting stuff going. Some of you know about some of that. At least those of you that might still be in the chat. Got plenty in progress, that's for sure. Eventually I'll get back around to some of that, but right now it's Super Chief time. And we're having fun with that. Certainly no shortage of locomotive and freight car projects going on, though. That much is for certain. I've always appreciated even just the small amount of little details that they put in. So like there's a letter piece on this table in this car. I've always been interested in the lack of minifigures in these kits. Not that there's necessarily a problem with that. I just found it interesting. It's like it seems to be, at the time, they were a little bit more, of the train modelers offering, because these cars are, based on real life prototypes. Not necessarily that a minifigure would detract from that. It just maybe gives it a little bit of a different approach. Just started working on a warehouse module idea. A full of half base plate between the tracks. Would need to fit a road and a ditch in between. That'd be interesting. What kind of music do I like? I like a bunch of different stuff, which is such a cop-out answer. I do actually listen to I'm not necessarily the world's biggest music person. I listen to music. I enjoy music. It's just that, like, I don't go out of my way to find new artists or find, like, new pieces to listen to. Just a little bit. I know what I like, and I kind of know it when I hear it. Like, there's a lot of rock and roll songs that I like. Recently I've been enjoying stuff that has got like a really maybe aggressive sound to it. It's like pop punk, that kind of thing. But I also enjoy, a lot of different flavors. Like, everybody loves a good sea shanty, for example. It'll swing wildly if I just set up a playlist in my car, like when I'm driving from any distance, basically longer than 3 hours. I will inevitably listen to some music after I get my round of phone calls in and catch up calls in with some friends and family. But yeah, if I were to just let my music playlist go, it would go everywhere. So I'm building the diaphragms right now, and the end doors, which are pretty consistently the same kind of assemblies. I guess it's one of the other things that I've always kind of liked about these cars is that it's kind of there's no reason why it wouldn't, because they're designed by the same person and they are built literally using the same parts within the same boxes of sets. But they always, like, the repetition, like, between assemblies, like the diaphragms and like the style of like the windows and like the style of like the interior details, has such a nice, just clean, easy, cohesive look. And again, there's no reason why it wouldn't, because it's all from the same guy. But I've always thought that was kind of nice. It's just very hard to argue with. Like, you cannot go wrong with it. That kind of thing. Streaming for an hour and 18 minutes already. Okay, got the diaphragms in. There you go. And put the wall up on the other side. I think these little stacked trans clear yellow 1x1 rounds are supposed to represent lamps. Put those in on the tables. It's one of those kind of things where, like, I would personally love to just go hog wild with the detail in this, but like it's not the point. Not the point of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to represent a piece of Lego history, not railroading history. So, okay, got the cups in. I'll put the wall up on the other side. Eventually. I have been designing some new stuff. I've got pictures that I need to take of some new stuff that is complete. Some stuff that I'm republishing because I was able to find a couple of incorrect details across a couple of different models that I've published within the last year or so, and found out that some details that I had originally thought were correct were actually incorrect. So I've got some stuff that I need to republish photos of, and a couple of things that are new and have not been published before. So I've got to take photos of some of that and throw that up online. We'll probably not do a video for some of that. I'll put photos of it on my Flickr. Flickr is kind of just the place where I just upload all of my model photos, really. It's like if people are asking to see photos of something that I've done, it's pretty much I just always send them to Flickr, because that's where I would consider that to be my portfolio, essentially. Could always do a better job updating it, but gonna try to take a chunk out of that soon. I think I've got around 10 photos to publish, 10 or 11, which is a good chunk of stuff that been anxious to get back out into the world, or to finally get out into the world for some time now, because I don't like sitting on unfinished stuff, just because it kind of demotivates me to finish it. But you get around to it and finally clear it off, and then you can completely dedicate the mental capacity to new stuff. So glad for that, which is good, because I've had good luck with building and designing some more rolling stock recently, which is of course always a fun time. So got some rolling stock that I'll need to order parts for and test build eventually. Hopefully not eventually. Hopefully it'll be fairly soon, but things cost money, and when you buy a house, a lot of money goes out the window very quickly. I think that's where the Santa Fe brick goes. There we go. At keeping posting photos, particularly of shows. Yeah, I don't take very many photos at shows. It's never been like something that I have thought to do or honestly cared to do. Probably should, at least a little bit, but the alternative to that is that the vlogs have taken the place of that, so it's worked out. And not everybody vlogs, and I don't even vlog all the time, so. Okay, making a little bit more progress now, starting to get a finish above the windows. I love these grill bricks, these kind of metallic, I don't know exactly what the color is, but the metallic style grill bricks, they're a lot of fun. They add a lot to the cars and break up the just the light gray look. Take care, Andrew, appreciate it. Thanks for the congrats. I appreciate that a lot. Have a good night. Get some sleep. It's late over there. Don't need to photos, videos. Yeah, there are a lot of people that frequent shows like that, that do take a lot of video and photos and stuff like that. So can kind of take it easy in a lot of cases, which is not necessarily a bad thing. This is interesting. It's trimmed almost incorrectly. Can kind of see this piece of the instruction page was kind of improperly trimmed. It's been folded over. That's interesting. Flat silver. Okay, that's good to know. Flat silver. What I'd figured, I think that this is the color that Nate Brill used to do the plenished iron or Russian iron boiler jacketing on his triplex several years ago. That model, by the way, is officially 10 years old as of this year. As far as I can remember, I'm pretty sure he published it in 2015, which blows my mind, because that means that I have been involved with I started getting involved with Penlug at least that many years ago. Would have thought. Flat silver. Metallic silver is the one that's a little bit got more of the kind of shine to it. Like it almost looks like these stickers do. I would say I think that's what the flat silver generally is. I have never committed all of the Lego colors to name or to memory by name. I might should do that. But just if I get close enough, it's fine. And I know Lego and pretty much the rest of the community has their own names for it. Like there's flame yellowish orange or bright light orange. Bright light orange is easier and makes a lot more sense. It's an interesting color to build with. If I can get some photos taken this week, I will try to upload those on Friday, and you will see what I have built with bright light orange. Need to build another one or something else in that color. Must have gotten worse at streaming in my off time. Really hoping I'm not missing anything, because I'm kind of not blowing and going, but just, you know, moving right along. I did just notice I missed putting the chairs in, so that's not minus 1 point for Glenn. Nice job. Where are they gonna sit? There we go. That's fixed. Standing room only, pretty much. What it would have been had I not put the seats in. Nope. Even something as simple as just like the tiles on the roof, which, as I would assume, is more for strengthening the those bricks than anything else, is just you know, just nothing wrong with it. Just gets the job done. Oh, I'm an idiot. It'd help if I paid attention. Imagine. There you go. Wanting the set as a kid, and it is so visually appealing. It really, honestly is. It's just so much to enjoy about it. All right, so we got the interior done. By the way, so the way that you build it is kind of the way that you're looking at it. So this is on your left side. I'm sorry, this is on your right side as you build it. So you got a pair of. This is so hard to do. You've got a pair of tables, mugs on this one. There's a letter on this one. 2 chairs for each one. These are translucent yellow 1x1 round plates, which I guess are lamps. And then on the side of the car, you've got kind of a little serving area with a faucet piece. Then the rest of the car is pretty much the same as otherwise, you know, same diaphragms and stuff like that. Saw my photos in front of the 765 with the closing and camera. Yeah, it's if you're talking about with the blue suit, yeah, that was a lot of fun. I tried to go for a little bit more 1940s than 50s, maybe even 30s. It's a little fluid. I'm trying to the 1940s is my aiming point, but you know, whether it's, you know, plus or give or take a few years is not a huge deal necessarily. Set that off to the side for a moment. That was a lot of fun. That was the Rolling Victory event last Labor Day weekend with 765 and the Fort Wayne Road Historical Society. A lot of fun. A lot of fun. Gonna make sure again that I get the parts put together in the right way. I honestly could not tell you if I'm doing it exactly right, but it was hot that day. You are correct about that. It was indeed warm. It was hot the last time I was up there too, a couple weeks ago. Cooled down enough, but really made me appreciate living in a world with air conditioning. So much fun though. Days like that you wouldn't trade for anything. Okay. Got the underside of this car just about wrapped up, I think, which means that we're closing in on, I believe, the end of this. Okay, trucks. We are getting down to it on the second car. Pretty sure all the trucks are going to be the same. Yeah, it looks like they are. That makes sense. Oh, and the Lego Master. Hello to you, sir. Welcome to the stream. Haven't missed a whole lot, just putting together some classic Lego, that's all. Having some fun talking about Lego, talking about trains. I'm not fake, by the way. I'm a content creator like me. Just hilarious because I don't consider myself a content creator. Talked about that a little bit earlier. Waxing poetic over different topics like that. Glad you're here, though. Hope you enjoy the stream. If you haven't tuned into my one of my live streams before, they are always very chill. Just kind of hanging out. Talk about Lego, talk about trains, talk about Lego trains. You're recording and creating content. I know that's my point, is that like content creation for me comes as an extra piece of the Lego hobby. I'm only doing it because I believe it's important to share what you do with the community. I believe that the publishing step of creating or of designing or creating a model is part of the creative process. At least it is for me. So as such, I post to YouTube. I post to a couple of different social accounts. I vlog occasionally when I could be bothered to do it. So it's you could call me a content creator. I wouldn't call myself that, but by a lot of standards, I do create content. Okay, slap the trucks on this guy, and again they call out the number to be 503 on this car, the dining car, since I know that there was a Pleasure Dome that was numbered 503 on the Santa Fe. I am not going to number mine 503. I think that the unused number is 1340. So that's 66. So that one's used. This one is 606. The baggage car is 606. The sleeping car is 66. And 1928 is the mail car. So, yep, 1340 is the one that isn't used because 24, I think it was 2417 is the observation car. 1340 is the number going on this dining car. Honestly, something like this would make me want a hyper accurate 8 wide version of the Super Chief, but something that I don't think I'll ever get to. All right. No doors on this one, interestingly. So let me see, just on the off chance that I missed anything on the interior, because I've got a white tile and a couple of white tiles here that seem like they would fit in the bar area. Yep, they do. I knew it. I knew it couldn't have been that simple. I've got a couple of 1x4 plates that would also seem like they fit somewhere, but I don't think so. Alien City, every known alien in LEGO history. 6 of them, 18 base plates, 48 by 48 studs. That sounds interesting. Sounds like a neat way to tell the story of LEGO Aliens. You gotta have the roster on there. And if that fits your description of alien for that project. I've got one of those guys floating around here somewhere. Might have 2 of them. All right, well, I think we got a couple of leftover 1x4 gray plates in each of them so far. And this one with its miscut instruction book, but that is the dining car. Mine is 1940. That one, when I build the rest of the train, what I'd like to do is have the dome car in this open space right here. So I'll leave them uncoupled for just the time being. Now it's 8 o'clock. I think I can get one more done. And then that'll leave the 2 head end cars and then the special edition locomotive for another time. So we'll continue on just for a little bit. I can probably do this in under 20 minutes, hopefully. Try to really crank through this. This one is the sleeping car. The 3rd variant of kit number 10022. Leave the hyper accurate one to Chris. Yeah, I'll let him take care of it. I am very excited to see that. And the Santa Fe stickers are applied on this set too. Take out the wheels, set them aside. Take out the couplers, set them aside. And go to town. This looks like it might have a few more pieces in it. I say that, but we'll see. This is a lot of fun, I have to say. This is a really, 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 really fun way of writing another chapter in a childhood story that has felt unfinished. Which sounds really poetic, and it kind of is. But I'm also just building Lego. At some point, I'm just playing with a children's toy. But I'm enjoying it, and that's what matters. I would assume there to be doors in this one. Yes, there are. There are doors there in the bag right here. So I'm wondering if when Paul bagged these up to sell them, did he put just the parts and just enough parts in each bag to produce that specific car? So I'm wondering if by the definition of the set, they are incomplete, but by definition of the model, they are complete. Which doesn't necessarily matter. The reason why I'm decided to build these now and not wait until I had all the everything that in order to build the B unit and the dome car is because I wanted to see if they were set complete or model complete, if that makes sense. And from what it looks like, it seems like that they are model complete, which is fine. And I think I've got to buy, probably, almost certainly we'll have to buy an extra couple of these to complete even the cars that I've got on hand, which annoying, but not the end of the world. I do genuinely want to have this completed. You know, be able to represent the complete version of this amazing set of cars. So might involve me spending a little bit more money, but yeah, it's fine. Again, I traded for what I've got now, so the out-of-pocket cost is on a relative scale pretty low so far. Building an alien dropship train, that does sound interesting. Best of luck with that. Okay. There we go. 1, 2, 3 of those. Very simple in construction and design, but so effective. Sleeper car like this will allow for some more interesting interior details with the bunks or the roomettes. It'll be kind of interesting having the knowledge that I do now, even just in not even having a ton of knowledge, but having some knowledge about sleeping cars from a couple different railroads, just trying to see what these look like on the inside, you know, like roomettes or bunks or sections or stuff like that. I did actually stay very recently, stayed in a ATSF sleeping car. It was not like this. The one that I stayed in was the Pine King dormitory lounge. And to be honest with you, it was pretty comfortable, gotta say. I enjoyed my time there. Quite comfortable for sure. Would stay in it again, and probably will later this year. Okay. Let's see here. Gonna start getting a little bit more interesting because we've got Technic introduced now. Technic pins and such. Okay. Again, want to make sure that I'm not missing anything. So this, I'll focus up for just a moment or so. But something seems like it'll hinge within these bedrooms, so this is intriguing. So I know these sets are, you know, 22, 23 years old at this point. They're approaching my age, but here I am discovering them for the first time in person. You know, in kind of a more, you know, physical way. I've obviously been aware of the existence of these sets and like had some understanding of them, but not the same as sitting down and putting them together. Not by any means. Okay, got everything in that step. Yeah, this one might take a little bit longer. That's okay, though. It is a work night, but not the end of the world. I do tend to head up to bed on the earlier side, which A, allows me to kind of wind down my evening in a little bit more of an easy way, and B, if I need to stay up, it means I have a little bit of a buffer zone to allow myself to do that. So I might stay up a little bit tonight, at least to the point of concluding the live stream in a place that makes sense, and getting to a good stopping point on this little project, which will almost certainly just be completing this car. So that's got to work. We'll call the stream after this car. What do you say? So we got 9 people watching. Hope you guys are all doing well. If you've just joined us, what I am doing is building my way through the entire LEGO Santa Fe Super Chief set, the entire train. So you see behind me, tucked away, is that I've got the, can't really see it, but I've got the, I just made it worse. I've got the observation car that I started with, and then I did the dining car, and then that is the copy of the Super Chief locomotive that I've had since for years and years. So, and I did get the special edition of the locomotive along with all of the cars. Let's see if I can make that camera position just a little bit better. Normally, my camera is focusing on me rather than the build. I've never really done this before because most of the time when I'm building on camera, well, I'm not actually building on camera. The camera is focusing on me, and because what I tend to build is private. But these have been out in the world for years, and they're not necessarily proprietary in any way. You can download the instructions for these directly from lego.com if you wanted to. So I'm not necessarily robbing Lego of anything by building these on camera either. I think I'm building this on a contrasting background. Even still, it can be hard to find the parts that you're looking for. What kind of job do I do? I have a couple different jobs. During the day, I am a mechanical engineer within the rail industry. I really enjoy that job. Had that job since I graduated several years ago. And it's been good to me. I've been good for them. Everybody's been satisfied. Excuse me. Yeah, it's been gone pretty well. That's my day job. I'm also part-time at the Age of Steam Roundhouse Museum, officially as a site interpreter, a tour guide, essentially. Another job which I really, truly, genuinely love. Wouldn't have thought growing up. I'm sorry, I'm looking for a 1x1 brick in gray, and I'm not seeing it. I'll find it at some point, I know. There's headlight bricks, which are throwing me off, and then you got the ones with the handles on them. So I should organize these just a little bit, make it easier on me. But yeah, I'm part-time tour guide at the Age of Steam Roundhouse Museum. Again, which is a job that I love. Really consider myself fortunate to be involved with that organization. That is the extent of my jobs. I would say that from which I receive a taxed paycheck. And then I'm involved with multiple nonprofit organizations at multiple different levels, some of which are known, some of which are not known to the public, that is. Haven't necessarily publicly announced some of those, not necessarily that I wouldn't. Maybe it's just, hasn't been the focus of any of my videos or anything like that. I still cannot find this 1x1 brick and gray. Let me make sure I'm not losing my mind. I am losing my mind because I already put it in a different place. Okay, well, take an L for the evening on that. Oh well. 1, 2, 3, 4. Anyways, so yeah, I work a couple of different jobs. Pretty much all, well, not pretty much, all of them, or both of them. The jobs are within rail in one form or another. Modern rail industry, or heritage rail industry, and tourism, I suppose you could say. And then involved with the nonprofits in multiple capacities as well. I wouldn't say necessarily with a place like Fort Wayne and 765, I wouldn't say that I necessarily hold a position there because I don't have a title. I have jobs that I do more consistently than others. So far, that has been mostly car hosting, which has been a lot of fun. That is, however, expanding. More on that maybe at a later date. And yeah, like I said, involved with a couple other places, some more frequently than others, and in different varying degrees and different varying roles. They all tend to be pretty cool. So trains are, like I've told people at Age of Steam on multiple occasions, trains are a full-time, part-time, and volunteer thing for me, which I really enjoy being able to say. Not going to say the trains are the only thing that I ever want to do with my entire life, but it is a large part of my life. It's the roles that I serve with organizations like that. I'm either new already or have since found that I'm kind of good at and enjoy filling those roles for people or for those organizations. So excited that I can continue doing so. Very fortunate. I won't lie, I consider myself very fortunate. I'm in a position and have maintained a position for myself where I can do a lot. Sometimes it's a lot of work. Sometimes it's a lot of commitment. Sometimes it's a lot of resources. Sometimes it's a lot of driving. But to me, it's worth it. Okay, building the diaphragms now. This is an update on the interior. I'm not quite through this step, step 8. This is back in the day when they would give you quite a decent amount of parts to put together per step, which is, of course, there's nothing wrong with. I did miss the chairs again. Put those back in. After the chairs, I'm pretty sure I'm completed up through step 9. So this seems to be kind of like a roomette sleeper. Presumably got different compartments. I guess it would be roomettes. Probably not. Maybe it's compartments. Maybe it's drawing rooms. I don't think it's sections because I think Pullman sections are more akin to coach seating and heavyweights. Again, I'm no technical expert on passenger cars, but you can recognize similar patterns. in a couple of different places. Flip the next page. Yeah, these are folding beds. How about that? That is pretty cool. So let's see here. What do we got? The bed together like that, and then put the plate down, and then you build 4 of those. So that folds down like that. That is pretty cool. And put these together and then demonstrate for the audience. For those of you following along at home, Will's here. Thank you. I was like, you are obviously the guy that came to my mind. Roomette is probably the most appropriate comparison. That's kind of what I thought. I think that was the term that I used first. At least I hope it was. One of these days, Will is going to test me on my passenger car knowledge, and I will fail. Good to see you, Will. This is pretty rad. So just put all these in, so you fold them up from the wall. Just like Pine King did, honestly. That is pretty rad. The coach expert summoned. Will is the passenger car expert for sure. Okay, so I got the beds in. What else am I doing here? Next page. Step 10. Plugging right along. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the number board mount. Wherever that is. There it is. And then the number board itself. No stickers on any of the number boards yet. It's a job for me to do, which I'm kind of glad about. Like I mentioned, I decided to save the number 503 instead of numbering the dyno 503. I numbered it 13. What was it? 1340. Save the 503 stickers for the dome car eventually. And multiple copies of these stickers across the sticker sheets that I do have, so wouldn't necessarily be the end of the world if some of them were used, but it does make things an awful lot easier. All right. Building this little assembly now, I assume that that's some kind of I don't actually know. Probably something to put a door onto. Yeah, well, that slide that you sent me yesterday, or the other day, whenever it was, I am jealous of that. You were correct in your assumption. I certainly am jealous of that one. Swingable lamps, yeah, that's got to be it. Okay, step 10 complete. Moving on. Starting to enclose the rooms just a little bit, which is kind of fun. Saving me the right numbers for the dome cars, my guy knows. Well, so I only found out that was through a Eurobricks post. Somebody else recently has been on Eurobricks, I believe, exploring the history of these James Mathis designed cars. And I think it was Ben Koifman happened to point out in the in that thread. It was pretty recent. I think it was within the last year. I remember. But Ben Koifman happened to point out that there was a dome car with the more modern angled bracing to it rather than the curved glass. That, I don't remember the car name, but it was at least numbered 503. Will, I knew you would appreciate that. I apologize if so far I've used the wrong numbers on anything else, but in my defense, I'm just going by what the set tells me to do, with the exception of the 503. Actually, that is the exact reason why my diesel locomotive, which is now out of frame, has numbered Alright, I think I'm back. Sorry about that. Oh my word. I think my internet just went out for a little while there. Sorry about that. Oh, goodness. Interesting. I've got fiber optic internet in this house, which is pretty fun until, well, internet's pretty nice until it just doesn't work. So, whoever said swingable lamps, you're correct. That's exactly what I'm installing right now. Nick, you said that. I can see that in the chat. I don't have to say whoever said that. I promise I know what I'm doing when I stream. Kind of batteries do I use in the locomotives? I use for my big power, I use a Tenergy 7.4 volt 2200 milliamp hour battery, which works perfectly well. That's excusable. Yeah, there's I like building to the instructions as much custom work as I do. At some point, it's just nice to just sit down and have and be told what to do. Really. So what I'm planning to do with the second A unit that I have now is I will number that the alternate number, which is 27, I believe. the other number you get in your stickers. And then I will incorporate the printed tiles, the unique printed tiles with the Lego logo and the serial number on them. I will put that on the inside brace that goes over the prime mover, which I believe Tommy did. My good friend Tommy sent me a picture of his. He's got one of the serial number copies of the locomotive. So that's probably what I'll do, just to keep them with the set. And I'll number it 27. The B unit will use that Santa Fe Super Chief logo with the kind of the wing style on it, which is as the designer intended. So that's that'll be pretty fun. I am really genuinely looking forward to that. You can kind of tell that these are old parts. They're not, they don't necessarily click together just like new Lego does. Maybe it's just the fact that they're old. Maybe it's just that Lego's tolerances are tighter now that they used to be. Who knows? But they kind of go together a little bit soft. Not an inherently bad thing. It's just that if this were to fall to the floor, which I hope it never does, it would probably produce quite the spectacle. So just kind of never did. It's kind of by that time anyways that I had moved on to stuff like the Tenergy battery and such. Anyways, which I will continue to use because they work very, very well. Kind of a winning formula. Why change it at this point? Okay, on to step. Watching. I do know that I've got viewers at least in a couple different parts of the world, which I'm honored, flattered, honestly, that anybody would watch my content. So if you're here, I appreciate it. Or if you are watching this as a VOD, I appreciate it too. Not forgetting about you guys either. Got 6 people here. It's good. I didn't even think to check that after the when I came back after the internet came back online. Didn't lose everybody. Starting to put the roof together on this now. Okay, lock these doors in place. When I put the tiles on, because that's important, need to pay attention to what I'm doing. There you go. Now put this on. There we go. Build the rest of the roof. Just a repetitive process of putting these pieces on the plates. Very easy. A little bit repetitive, but that's okay. It's not that bad. It's probably nowhere near as bad as putting all of those like quarter round tiles on the Rivendell building roof. That would be, especially when you have to angle them That sounds like a lot. I'm sure it is worth it though. Like I am not the world's biggest Lord of the Rings fan. I have seen the movies. I have not read the books. Just get that out in the open. But man, the recent Rivendell set looks incredible. Absolutely incredible. I'm continually impressed, honestly, by what people build with Lego that isn't trains. And impressed with the trains too, but you know, I relate to the trains more and I can appreciate it more. But seeing something like Rivendell, even, you know, just even a Lego set like that continues to impress me. Not quite. There we go. Excellent. Onto the underbody. Again, it's kind of fun and refreshing to see the similar assemblies, like the underbody components, like the tanks and the detailing underneath the cars is just similar between all of the versions of these kits. So it's kind of fun to build and rebuild, essentially. Like these are fairly easy, honestly. I can build the underbody and the truck kind of by memory at this point. They're just simple enough that you just kind of roll through it. Camden, welcome to the stream. You're catching us on towards the tail end here, but appreciate you coming out. And Elijah Stewart, welcome to the stream as well. Again, you're catching us on the towards the tail end, as I'm beginning to enter the final stages of putting together the third version of Lego set number 10022, which is the sleeping car of the Santa Fe Super Chief set. Building my way piece by piece through the entire Super Chief, starting with the observation car, then did the diner. In this space eventually will be one of the dome cars, the dome car that was never released. And then the engine that I've got down is my own original copy of the locomotive that I restored earlier this week, putting all of the parts and the missing parts and things back into that, which was very gratifying. But yeah, starting to enter the final stages. It's 8:44 foam alert where I'm at, and I've got to work tomorrow. So it seems like every time you catch me live, it's at the end of the stream. Well, either I've got to start streaming earlier, or you got to start tuning in earlier, or I've got to start streaming later, or you got to start tuning in earlier. That's what it is. Maybe one of these days we'll figure that out. I'm having the time of my life, though. This is just so much fun to put these kits together for the first time. So I'm consistently missing or not using a pair of 1x4 plates in light gray. So I'm wondering if I'm actually missing those somewhere in the build process. I hope I'm not, but it's entirely possible that I could be. I don't know where that might be, though. It does say that they are used in the trucks, but I can't figure out where that is. Oh, wait. Okay. Okay. I figured it out now. So these go on the bottom of that black piece to keep the tile, the assembly. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I have to go back and correct that on the other two that I finished already. That's a what you call an ID10T error. For those of you who have a dad that appreciates that kind of humor, you've probably heard of that before. So that is the sleeping car almost complete. What do they number the sleeping car as? They number it as 66. So that is what I will do with mine. The last Lego train set that I built was, I believe, the Orient Express, and that was late 2023 already, so it's been a little while. I did not pick up the logging railway or the Wild West train. Not necessarily that I don't like them. I do. I like both of them. It's just that the money that I have right now is a finite resource, and felt it would be best spent elsewhere. So, all right, let me get the other ones that we've completed so far. I'll add those plates in that I missed in the first go around. Just those. So yeah, I am pretty confident in saying that these copies of these kits that I got are model complete rather than set complete, because I have exactly the right amount of parts to build each version of each model of what came in the kit. So from back to front, and I'll grab 301 back here for the sake of it. So again, this is my original first copy of the Super Chief locomotive. All the original stickers are still on it. Got the original figures put back together in the inside. I had to put the prime mover back together. All of the printed parts, the custom, not the custom, but the printed parts that were included in the set. That guy, both of these, and that little tile back there. I put that back in. Put the tools back in there. I removed the clips and the tool that held them in, and the tools that were that went in those clips. Put all that back together. I changed that to a tile, or 1x2 regular tile, but changed that back to the grill tile, which is correct to the instructions. I think I changed that back in the day because in my mind that was one solid stripe. I don't know why they did the grill tile. I'm sure there was a reason for that, but I put it back together the way that the kit was sold and the way that the designer put it together. I did remove the parts on the interior for the light piece, and I did order a brand new copy of the light kit for this locomotive. So I think it's turn towards the back of the instructions. It tells you in very simple ways how to light this, how to light up this kit. I've had the 9-volt motor on there. That stayed. Lego number 3748. I bought one of those off of Bricklink, and it should be here in a little while, a few days or however long. But I will eventually put that in my original copy of the locomotive to light this up. Still got the special edition of the locomotive that I got with all of this that I will number 227. We'll probably put the 9-volt motor in it, but probably won't light that one up. And then I've got these 3 cars built, which we'll look at in a second. Unbuilt so far are both versions of the 10025 kit, which are the RPO and the baggage car. And then the plan, of course, is to eventually acquire enough parts to do a B unit to make an ABA unit set, which would be awesome, which I'm sure I'll leave unpowered. Reason I'd unpower the B, would leave the B unit unpowered and power the second A unit, is to make the A units match to cross like with the tanks, because you have to shorten this to put the motor in. So it would make the A units match and leave the B unit unpowered, and then build the dome car, which would probably put in consist right ahead of the observation car. So cars that we built tonight include the observation car. So this is the second version of kit 10022. This is just lovely. I mean, they're all lovely. So I mean, just get that out of the way right there. But this is just unbelievably cool. You know, you've got the printed tire with the Super Chief on it. You've got the rear red marker light. You've got the lights on the side there. The wonderful metallic silver grill bricks all down the side represent the fluting, or like the Bud style fluting. I think these were, Will, you're still on the stream. Were these Bud cars? Let me know. Or were these Pullman? Apologize for not knowing, but I'm learning. Bear with me. But the stainless steel style of the car, and then the wonderful metallic silver stickers with the name and the numbers on them. Unique car numbers, of course. So got the observation car with the kind of the lounge section, I guess. Not quite a lounge, but kind of similar to that. You've got the chair facing right out the rear of the car, and then you've got like the serving area in the front of the car. Not the serving area. There should be a brown briefcase here, and then a white tile on top of that. I'll have to pull those from my own collection to put in there, but not the end of the world. On a relative scale, those are very minor things to miss. Moved from there into the first version, 10022-1, which is the dining car. I numbered mine 1340. And you've got the two tables and then the serving area in this with the sink. Gorgeous as well. Same features, same form factor, same style. And then the sleeping car, 10022-3. No doors on the dining car, and interestingly enough, bits and bobs are both really interesting. So Pullman, Bud, both of them. Glad I wasn't necessarily incorrect, I guess you could say. And then you got the sleeper. I numbered mine 66, followed the instructions. 4 compartments, the beds fold down, which I think is so cool. I think that's awesome. Gonna see if I can leave mine up to kind of represent closed compartments, or enclosed compartments, which is so cool. And then you've actually got there's actually a little sink kind of tucked underneath this section of the roof here. And you got the swinging lamps, this is just beyond awesome. So again, I've never had these growing up, so this is, you know, a lot of kind of a big moment for me to start putting these together for myself. So we'll put them down all on the track. Actually, before I do that, they didn't do names for the sleeper. Yes, also bothers me that the number that they chose to use is an RPO number. No, it's not only a will problem, because that actually does kind of bother me, but I'm also not surprised because it's Lego and these are just made to be fun. So if I was going to model an 8-wide like hyper detailed Super Chief, or a 148 scale hyper detailed Super Chief, I would obviously go to that extent. Am I involved with the B&M 1397 charter? Officially, not yet. I'd like to be. Just kind of depends on time. I did model for Dynamo on the 429 NNW charter in January, which is where the photos that you've seen of me are coming from that they're using to advertise for that. But I would like to be involved in that, so we'll see. Sizable break from Lego to pursue music, building a home studio next week. That's pretty cool. Perfectly fine reason for that. They definitely did knock it out of the park with these kits. Camden, I certainly agree. These are just beyond cool to me. And again, having finally the full set in my own hands, in my own ownership for the first time, is nothing short of awesome. So we'll put them down here and we'll run them around for just a couple minutes. I don't want to stream for forever, but it's been 2.5 hours, so. This will be really, really nice with the extra, the head end cars, the second A unit, and then eventually a B unit, and then the dome car, which would be super cool. But even still, just 3 of these together is Incredible. Gotta say, I'm quite happy with that. That is really just magnificent. Quite a fun moment. Quite a fun moment indeed. So if any last minute questions come up, I'll happy to answer those. I'll probably cut it off here in just a couple minutes. But this is so finicky. But so there you go. It's pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie, that's great. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, a couple more minutes we'll say. Any other last minute questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. I am really satisfied with these. Again, this is not something that I would look to do consistently at all. I am not a Lego collector, not by any means. But this was an opportunity that I really had to get in on. So this has been a lot of fun. I'm sure that at some point I will do a second live stream, maybe over the weekend or sometime, to build the 2 head end cars and the second locomotive. And then perhaps in the future, when I get the parts for the B unit and the dome car, I might do another stream to build those and then have everything all together. So quite a fun moment. It's even more exciting to think that the train will double in length eventually and triple in power. So I guess that'll be what, nine pieces in total at that point. That's pretty fun. Gonna have to put more track down right there. Any Pennsylvania steam locomotive, what would I build? Pennsylvania freight steam locomotive specifically, good clarification. I love the L1 and I love the Q2. If I was going to build Pennsylvania steam, I would choose either one of those. Pennsylvania freight steam, I'd build either one of those. Love the J1, but tried that, didn't work out. Not that I'm saying I couldn't do it again. I probably could if I wanted to, but move on to something else. Try something different. Let somebody else take a J1. So, oh man, oh, I'm yawning. Well, so that's my cue to wrap up in that case. Well, guys, thank you for coming out, for watching the stream. Really appreciate your support. Really appreciate the conversation, the questions, the feedback, everything. This is a lot of fun. Really good to stream again. Been quite a while since I've done this. Got some content that I would like to push out to the channel eventually. Like I said, I've got some models that I've been working on to that are basically that are complete, and I need to just take photos and get through the publishing stage of those to completely clear them off the list. Move on to other stuff. I've got a lot of stuff sitting in studio on my other screen right now that I am very excited to move on. A lot of projects across a lot of different departments of my modeling. More locomotives, more rolling stock. Always stuff going on. But anyways, guys, thank you for tuning in. If you're watching as a VOD, thank you for watching. I appreciate the support. If you have any further comments, questions, or constructive feedback, let me know in the comments down below. My DMs across social media are pretty much always open. Again, I answer them as I have the time to do so. That's interesting. Wonder if the motor just got warm. That's really interesting. I have literally never had that happen before. They are a little bit, they do drag, it seems, these cars. Oh, I can hear them dragging through the curves, so I might need to do something about that eventually. I hope I didn't just kill a 9-volt motor. My goodness, that would be annoying. Either way, I'll have to diagnose that off stream. So I'll wrap it up there for now. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it, guys. Have a good rest of your night. Talk to you all later.